Episode 4. I scowled at the two of them. I didn't like being forced into doing anything. Don't worry, Daisy. If you're no good, he won't make you fight. He just likes to see what everyone is capable of. Sean told me, his frown permanently etched onto his face. I can fight just fine. I snapped at him. I no longer wanted to be treated like some dainty little girl. I may be small, but I can handle my own. Since when? Finally, a smirk formed on his face. The only other expression I had seen on his face was a frown. I glared at him. Since I left this pack, I haven't been sitting on my ass for an entire year. I'll be there tomorrow for training too. We'll see how good you really are, little sis. He smirked at me, only pissing me off further. Scott was a big advocate on men fight better than women. It was good to know my brother felt the same. Chris pushed me to the breaking point more times than I could count. I had no doubt that I could handle most of the male wolves here. I spent the rest of the afternoon with my family. Grandma tried to raise their moods, but they had been sitting in misery for who knows how long. I followed my grandma outside and helped her straighten out the wilting flowers that crowded the outside of the house. By the time we were finished pulling up the dead flowers and planting new ones, I was exhausted and covered in dirt. And you call yourself old? I huffed at her, taking long gulps of the lemonade she had made for me. She chuckled at my statement and rolled her eyes. Years and years of working in my garden, dear. Let's make that a part of your training. She laughed, and I gave her a frightened look. You're gonna work me to death, Grandma. And I thought Chris was an evil dictator. I shuddered in fear. My grandma cackled and shooed me inside. By the time I finally collapsed on my bed, I was knocked out cold without a second thought. I woke to the sound of banging. Startled from my sleep, I jumped out of bed just in time for my bedroom door to open. Shit, Daisy, what are you still doing here? My dad exclaimed, his eyes darting around at my restless appearance. Huh, was the first thing to leave my lips. For a minute there I hadn't even remembered leaving Grandma's house. With an exasperated look, my dad replied, Hell, you're late for training. What? I gasped. Why didn't Sean wake me up? He has patrol early in the mornings. My dad groaned, already off to a bad start. Shit. Well, go so I can get dressed. I huffed, sprinting to my suitcase and yanking out the first thing I saw. Once my door closed, I slipped on a black sports bra and a pair of black leggings. I hastily combed through my hair using the bathroom mirror. In the back of my head, I remembered Scott's comment about me looking goth. I smirked into the mirror. I darted down the stairs, nearly toppling my grandma over on the way. Daisy, if you end my life knocking me down these stairs, I'll haunt you. Grandma called out after me, but I was already barreling through the front door. My stomach rumbled, demanding we go back home and eat some breakfast. As much as I'd love to oblige, I couldn't. Goddess, he's going to be pissed. Maya huffed. Well, I didn't see you waking me up on time either. I grumbled at her. I was busy. Maya shrugged, giving a half-ass excuse. You're a damn wolf who lives in my head. What could you have possibly been doing? I shook my head at her. Maya's voice went silent in my head, and I rolled my eyes. For once I was thankful that our house was a short run from the pack house. By the time my lungs had started to burn, I could see the others already training. I skidded to a halt in front of everyone. From the looks of it, there were at least 30 other wolves present for training. I instantly noticed Alpha Nolan's men lingering around. Each one looked like they were half giant, and many had gruesome scars on different parts of their body. Each one was completely hot in an animalistic sort of way. I had been so busy ogling the shirtless men that I hadn't heard it when someone behind me cleared their throat. I spun around and nearly smacked into someone's chest. Well, fuck. Maya's breath caught in her throat. I could only assume I was looking into the eyes of Alpha Nolan. His eyes were the color of liquid honey, and at the moment they were set directly on my face. Didn't I specifically tell you not to be late? His husky voice was hard, lacking any emotion other than impatience. Please, Maya rolled her eyes. From the looks of it, sleep was definitely better than this. The tone of his voice pissed me off. He sounded like your typical hot-blooded alpha. Without thinking it through, I felt the words fall from my lips. I'm not good with rules, I said bluntly, looking up at him. The guy had to be over 6 feet tall. I stifled a snicker as I wondered if he could give me a couple inches. He towered over me and made me look like a kid. I watched in silence as his dark eyebrow raised at my words, his eyes silently fuming. I kept my eyes trained on his own, but I noticed the muscle in his jaw moving. I guess he didn't like being disobeyed. Well, we're going to have to change that. His voice was cold as he analyzed me. I couldn't tell if I felt like a piece of meat or an innocent doe lined up for slaughter. If he wasn't so drop-dead hot, I'd tell him to go fuck himself. Maya rolled her eyes. Geez, you're worse than I am. I snickered. Yeah, that's doubtful. Maya smirked. Good luck. Again, my stupid lips uttered the words before I could think them through. His lips were pressed in a tight line, and I desperately wanted to laugh. I expected a lot more from the deadliest of alphas. Good luck? Good luck? Are you trying to get us killed on our first day back? Maya snapped. You're the one who said you'd tell him to go fuck himself. I rolled my eyes at her. Well, I didn't, did I? Maya huffed. What is your name, pup? His cold voice growled. I ignored the fact that the hairs on my arms were standing on end and answered the hot-blooded alpha. Daisy. And yours? I smirked, already knowing his name by the dominance and authority he exuded. Your new alpha. He replied, gauging the reaction on my face. Did he really think I had no idea who he was? Well, who was I to ruin the fun? As if that wasn't obvious. Maya laughed. I let my smirk deepen. Ooh, really? I let fake shock fall over my face. I could see the anger flash in his eyes, and I waited. Now, I don't normally have a death wish, but I already started off on a bad note. I could tell from a mile away that Alpha Nolan was one of those typical alphas who wanted everyone to fall in line like good little subjects. I had a big problem with that, and it didn't help that I seemed to blurt out the first thing on my mind. I was surprised when Alpha Nolan turned away, facing the other wolves in training. Attention, everyone. Alpha Nolan snapped. In an instant, everyone's eyes were on Alpha Nolan and I. I refused to cringe under the attention. Alpha. Nolan's voice took on a rough quality, one that nearly made me shiver. I couldn't help but notice Sean's fear-stricken eyes on me, wondering what the hell I was doing. Daisy decided sleeping in was more important than attending training today. Unfortunately, we no longer have anyone available for her to partner up with. Alpha Nolan's deep voice rumbled over everyone, commanding our full attention. I let the little glimmer of hope blossom inside of me. Maybe I'd be able to just sit out today. Not to worry. I will be Daisy's partner. Alpha Nolan's harsh words were like a bucket of cold water. Shit, you've really done it now. Maya groaned. Crap, what do I do? I asked her. Try not to die? Maya shrugged. Thank you for your infinite wisdom, Maya. I rolled my eyes at her. It's not a problem. I live to serve. She snickered. But for real, try not to die. You know how to fight. You'll never win, but you can still put up a fight. She shrugged.
Full story is available at novelpalace.com. Click the link in the comment section to get it free.